What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today is the start of my yearly favorites of 2018. I'm going to separate these into three categories: makeup, hair, and skin. So today is all about makeup. And also my little mini Christmas tree is still with us. I just don't have the heart to take her down, and I also don't have the storage boxes to put all my Christmas stuff up, so we still got a little bit holiday spirit here. So I'm going to try to keep this organized and talk about face, eyes, and lips in their own categories. So let's go ahead and start with face. So starting with primers, I didn't really have any that I really stuck with all through the year that I was just obsessing over, but this one can be used as a primer, but I used it as a standalone base product on very, very natural, minimalistic days. So this is the No. 7 Airbrush Away Tinted Skin Perfector. This product is magical. I did feature this in several videos, but the one that I remember most is my natural, minimalistic, simple everyday makeup routine. This is such a unique product. So here's what it looks like. It's a very thick, moussey texture, and they do have 3 different shades. I think they have light, medium, dark. These are self-adjusting, so it doesn't have to be a perfect match for you. I mean, clearly this ain't me. It's very thick, and as you can see when you rub it in, it does adjust to your skin tone, which is very nice. But this just gives you such a soft, velvety look to your skin, and it just blurs over imperfections, it blurs over your pores. The only complaint I have about it is that it doesn't have SPF. This would be the most perfect product in the world, especially for those summer days, if it had SPF. So if you're watching No. 7, get on it. So moving on to foundations, there's only 2 that really stuck out to me that I was just obsessing over the year. The first one is the LA Colors Truly Matte Long Wearing Foundation. This stuff is like $4. You can find it at the Dollar General store. It's such an amazing product. It's full coverage, very long wearing, and literally the most transfer resistant foundation I've ever worn. I've worn this on very hot summer days where I'm sweating and I'm oily and I'm out in the sun all day long, and it will still look the same by the time I take it off at night, after 10 or 11 hours of wear, as it does when I first apply it. So the next foundation is more of a recent, mind-blowing situation. I've had it in my collection for a while, but it just recently started re-blowing my mind, if that makes any sense. And that is the Physicians Formula New Wear Touch of Glow Foundation. If you want full coverage and a dewy, glowy finish that will last all day long, this is it. Now, I will say, if I get super heated and super sweaty, I don't think I would love this in the summertime. It blends out so seamlessly. I mean, sits on the skin so beautifully, minimizes pores, just minimizes and blurs imperfections. It's amazing, and I can't say enough good things about it. So the next couple of things I have are foundation mixer adjuster type products. So these are the e.l.f. Mix to Match adjuster drops. So I have the shades bronze and yellow. I use yellow the most, but for things that I just want to kind of tweak the undertone or tweak the depth of it, these are what I use. So I use this yellow one so much to warm up my foundations that aren't yellowy enough for me, because I have a golden olive undertone, and it's just so hard to find a drugstore and high-end foundation that's a golden olive undertone. They don't seem to understand that we're out here. So here is the yellow, and then here is the bronze. And the bronze, I thought it was a deepening foundation mixer, but really it just kind of warms up the foundation and just makes it a little bit more dark. I mean, I definitely do use this as a darkening agent, but they do have one that's actually for deepening foundation, so I'd probably try that one over this one if you want to pick it up yourself. But this yellow one, it is straight up yellow pigment. It's so concentrated, it literally takes just a drop, literally not even a pea size amount, and it completely changes the undertone of your foundation. So moving on to concealers, the Maybelline Fit Me concealers are my ride or die holy grails. I never not have this on me. It's such a nice thin gel-like consistency. You can get medium to full coverage out of it. I always get full coverage. I don't really have a lot of dark circles though, so I can get full coverage out of it, but it never looks cakey, it never looks drying. It just sits so nicely under the eye area without emphasizing all the wrong things. It doesn't settle, it doesn't fade. And then the Sistar Beauty It's You Skin Perfecting HD Concealer. This was a surprise for me because every time I wear this concealer, my under eye area holds up all day long. This legit does not crease, does not fade. It gives you full coverage. Now this is the shade Ivory. I do want to go lighter, and they actually just expanded their shade range on their complexion products. So I think I talked about that in my Sistar Beauty review, that I wanted them to expand their range because it was horrible. Everything ran way too dark. It's so smoothing, it's so milky looking. Amazing concealer. So as far as powders go, I'm pretty sure these are ones I've talked about every year. I never not have these on me. So this is the NYX HD Finishing Powder in the shade Banana. So this is what I use to set my under eye area. And I've repurchased probably 3 or 4 of these at least. This is such a nice formula. It's so finely milled. It's very, very soft. It's not drying and it's not too mattifying. And it is a banana shade, but it's not too banana and too yellowy to where if you have a lighter skin tone, you can't wear it. I mean, obviously, I'm light complected, so I can pull it off. It doesn't make you look like you have jaundice or anything. I will say if you have a deeper skin tone, this will probably be too white for you, because I always say this is kind of like a mixture of a white and a yellow powder together, because it's not too yellow. It's just perfect for setting under the eye area. It just gives the perfect amount of brightness. It's not too stark and it's not too yellow. And then the Avon Ideal Flawless, well, they actually changed the name. This is called the True Color Flawless Loose Powder in the shade Translucent. Is my favorite setting powder for the face. This works with every foundation. It keeps me matte all day long, but not too matte. Like, it's not cakey or thick looking. It just sets perfectly. You can find this on the Avon website, obviously, but I also find mine on eBay and Amazon. I can get them for like $7 or $8 on there, so that's where I usually do it. Cheek products. Let's talk about some blush. So this is more of a new discovery for me. So the MAC Mineralized Blush in the shade Warm Soul is my new favorite natural minimalistic blush. This is such a unique color. It's like, I can't get it open. The packaging kind of sucks on it, but it's kind of like a deeper terracotta peach. It has a little bit of like a bronzy aspect to it, but it doesn't look like much when you swatch it. I found that about all of the mineralized finishes from MAC. But this looks so nice on the cheeks. And it's not a super pigmented formula or anything, so you can build this up. It's very, very sheer and it's very thin. So you basically can't go ham with this. Like, you can't go overboard with it. Like, it takes a lot to actually apply too much with this. And then the Collab Beauty Soft Spot Sheer Blush in the shade First Base is one of my favorite shades. I love this kind of shade in general, but this is just that very common NARS Orgasm kind of shade where it's like a deep rosy coral with a golden sheen. It just looks so good on all skin tones. It's not too pigmented to where, again, you're gonna go overboard. It's very buildable, but you know, it's more pigmented than the MAC Mineralized blushes. And then the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Dolce Pink is very similar to that one. It's a little bit more pink to it, but I mean, you know how baked blushes are from Milani. Like, they do have that little dome to them. I've actually got it to be pretty flat, so I use this one very, very frequently. So comparing it to the Collab blush, they are very, very similar. The Milani one's a little bit more pink, and then the Collab one's a little bit more coral, I guess you could say. But again, very sheer formula to where it's hard to go overboard, and it just looks so pretty on the cheeks. This is something that has that really vivid gold sheen to it, so you don't have to wear highlighter if you don't want. Like, it basically highlights for you. When it comes to bronzer, there really wasn't anything I stuck with all year round except this one right here, which is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And when I hit pan on something, that's when you know that I love it. So this is just the original bronzer shade. I just can't not have this in my collection. It's just such a good formula. So moving on to highlighter. There's only 2 that really stuck out to me. And the first one is one that I've talked about every single year. My favorite highlighter of all time. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals. So this is a very unique formula in that it's not shimmery or frosty. It's just a straight up dewy glow. And it just gives you a beautiful sheen. This is a pretty hefty highlighter. Like, this, if you like blinding highlights, this will give you that. But it's not super emphasizing of texture or pores or hair because it's not frosty or anything, which most highlighters are. Such a beautiful color. It's very skin-like. It really mimics your skin tone instead of sitting on like a stripe, because it's like a deep champagne with like a bronzy undertone. And then this is more of a recent favorite of mine, but this is the Bad Habit Rosé Highlighter Palette. Now, looking at this, I didn't think I would be into it because I'm just not into these kind of tones. Like, this is a very like pink undertone palette, and I do think this is trying to dupe the Nicole Guerrero palette from Anastasia, like her glow kit. This is such a beautiful highlighter palette. This is very blinding. You can wear it, you know, less intense, obviously. We've established that with most things, but it's just so flattering, and it just sits on the skin so nicely. It gives you a beautiful dewy glow, and it doesn't emphasize too much. Now, this one is a lot more shimmery than the Wet n Wild one, so if you apply too much, it definitely can, but just such a nice, buttery, soft formula. I am extremely impressed with this. So moving on to eyes. So when I was first making my favorites list, these were the 2 products I put on at the very top. Like, these are the ones that stuck out the most to me over everything. So these are from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. And I'm not talking about the entire Vault, just 2 palettes from it. This palette, which is Dark Magic from the Vault collection, was something that I wore very frequently, and there were some weeks when I wore it every single day of the week when I put makeup on. This is my favorite palette of the year, probably my favorite product of the year if we're being honest, and I didn't expect that at all because this shade range, not used to it. I also love the Bling Boss palette. This is just, I love this kind of range. Like, I love pinky, purple, like berry, red tones. Now, I will say this one right here, this like bright neon purple, didn't use that. And I don't use this one right here, which is like that blackened kind of plum with glitter. Don't use those, but everything else, especially this shade right here, which is called Ballsy. Oh my God, so unique. And then I love, what's this called? Sparks. I've been getting a lot of love out of the Dark Magic and Bling Boss palette. The other two, not the biggest fans of, but those exceeded my expectations. Next up are ColourPop single eyeshadows. So this year was kind of the year for me of broadening my singles collection and really focusing on like building my own palettes and not buying like pre-made palettes just because I like one or two shades out of them. So without getting into like specific shades from them, I just love the formula of ColourPop single shadows in general. They're so easy to work with. They're so easy to blend out. I have no struggles with them whatsoever. There's no wear issues. They wear and hold up all day long. And they're just so pigmented and buttery and soft. My favorite shades of the year were Snake Eyes, which is this like pinky taupe, almost like a purpley undertoned kind of shade. And then also Glass Bull, which is this really unique, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a minty teal with like a brown base with a little bit of red to it. It's just, it's a really weird shadow. I've never seen anything like it before. And then a recent discovery of mine is the Morphe 35V palette. So it's been a while since I bought a Morphe palette, and I've talked about this before. I felt like their more recent palettes were just 35 of like 5 different tones. Like there were just way too many replicates. But this one was something that I've been using on quite a lot of people because I guess we'll just go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. I did start working at Ulta this year. That's what my full-time job is now. And I do makeup application and makeup lessons and stuff like that. And I've been using this palette on so many people, and it just works so well that I decided to pick it myself. Like, they're so amazing. The quality is there again. They're not too flaky or too powdery. Like, I feel like they were getting very powdery and just there was way too much fallout with them. And they just apply so nicely again. So I'm really glad that they kind of got back to their roots because this palette is killer. So moving away from eyeshadows, going into, let's talk about some brow products. So this is the one brow pencil that I used all year round. I don't even think I really bought anything else. This is the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. This has been raved about so much by me, like to the point where I feel like NYX should give me commission because I talk about this so frequently. So this is a very unique concept because this is a flat edge pencil. It's not like the Anastasia Brow Wiz where it's like a really fine little micro pencil. It's not like the Anastasia Brow Definer where it's, you know, angled and more triangular shaped. It's just flat, and because it's flat, it's kind of more like a square edge. It just gets a very crisp, precise line, and it's very good for outlining and just looks very natural on the brows. But I think next time I am going to get a different shade aside from taupe, which is really weird for me because I never use anything but taupe because that's just the kind of color that my brow hairs are. But a more recent favorite for me is the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil in the shade Honey Brown. I don't even know why I started using this because anything that's a brown shade for my brows usually doesn't work. It's usually too dark for me. But this is amazing, and this color is perfect for me. It holds up all day and it's very natural. I'm wearing it right now and it matches perfectly, and I would never go for a honey brown shade. Like, that's just not what I would consider my brow hair color to be. Next up, the AOA Studio Brow Mascara in the shade Taupe, I believe. The label's not on anymore, and neither is the little twist cap, little silver cap. I'll post a picture over here of what it actually looks like when you first get it, but this is $1 on the Shop Miss A website, and this is amazing. This is kind of like the Benefit Gimme Brow Mascara, I think is what it's called. I haven't tried that one, but I'm just assuming that it's just like it, but it's just a really fun little brow mascara, and it just fills in my brows perfectly. For those days I don't want, you know, a lot of precision, I just want to throw something on and go. It's perfect for that. So the brow gel that I usually use is the Essence Lash and Brow Gel Mascara. This is just clear. And I use this to kind of prep my brows, so to speak. Like, I'll put this in before I put my brow pencil in, and it just kind of gives it something to adhere to. And I don't know, I just find whenever I go in, like, just on the skin, I have to use so much more product, and I feel like it just slips and slides around and it doesn't actually stick to my brow hairs. And I feel like when I do something like this, it actually does. But it's not crispy or crunchy. It's just a very natural hold. And then for mascara, I only have one because this is the only one that I've used consistently all through the year. This is the Essence Sculpted Volume Mascara. There is literally nothing I've tried that's better than this. It gives me such big lashes. It gives volume, length, it separates, it clumps but not too much, it's thickening, it gives you fullness. There's nothing that it really doesn't do. So moving on to a few lip products, and then we're done with yearly favorites Part 1. So the Wet n Wild Catsuit liquid lipsticks are my favorite, but not for wearing on the lips, but for eyeliner. I've really been into colored liner lately, and these are amazing. They hold up all day long. They don't transfer, they don't smear, they don't smudge, and they're so flattering. So I've been into 2 shades. This one is Behind the Bleachers, which is a really pretty cranberry red. I started using this around Christmas because I thought a red liner would be so pretty, and it was a smash hit. It is so complimentary. I mean, who would have thunk that red liner would be so flattering? It is. Trust me. And then I also have Berry Recognize, which is a really pretty, just deep berry pink. And then my favorite lipstick of the year, like this is the one I've used more than anything, which is why it's in here, obviously. This is the NYX Slip Tease Lip Lacquer in the shade Let's Get Physical. This is such a nice formula. If you like a very glossy look, but like if you like full-on color, this is what you need to try. I hope they expand their shade range. There's not really a whole lot. There's only like 2 or 3 nudes, and then everything else is kind of dark and kind of bold. It looks kind of pinky on my hand, but it does pull more brown on my lips. But this formula is amazing. It's very long wearing. It has a very slight tingle to it, so it's a little bit more cooling and hydrating, but full-on color, very, very pigmented. Like this is what a liquid lipstick should be. Like a liquid lipstick was made to be a matte thing, but in my opinion, this is what it should have been. And then as far as lip liners go, the ColourPop lip liners will always have a special place in my heart. These are my favorite formula ever. I've talked about these numerous times. So creamy, very long wearing, just glide on. And then recently I started loving the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liners. I've only tried one shade. This is the shade Los Angeles. I love this formula. It is very creamy. I do feel like it's better than the original Slim Lip pencils, and these are like $3. You cannot beat them. And then the last product of my yearly favorites is this Kokie Cosmetics Waterproof Velvet Smooth Lip Liner in the shade Mauve Nude. I'm always on the hunt for a really good nude lip liner that will go well with everything, and this is very much that. Very smooth. This is the type that you sharpen, and it sharpens very nicely. It doesn't come apart from the tube like the ColourPop ones do. That is it for my yearly favorites makeup edition for 2018. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the hair and skin edition of this yearly favorites series, because those are coming up next. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it and want to see more like it next year, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.